Hello my friends, welcome back to part 2 of this rather unusual painting. It's coming on quite nice, isn't it? It's beginning to look like, I think, the eye of a cat. Um, you can be the judge of that, but I think it's looking okay. It's coming on quite nice. So I'm looking forward to painting the eyeball here, right in the middle. Vibrant colours, a little bit of reflection. See if we can bring this painting to life. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you to my patrons for your support. It is greatly appreciated. Of that you can be sure. I'm sincerely thankful for your support. Anyway, let's crack on and finish this. See if we can create a nice subject out of this. And I hope you're learning something. I hope you're learning a little bit of something. So yes, let's go. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you. And let's have some fun. Okay, this is the tricky part of the entire painting. Let's see, can we create an eyeball? Shall we, my friends? I'm going to start just around the centre, I think. It's kind of a soft yellowy colour, isn't it? I'm going to try some Naples yellow with a touch of blue. There's a tiny touch of blue in with the Naples yellow there. Look, a sort of a mustardy green. Kind of a colour, maybe a bit more Naples yellow. And I'm thinking perhaps a touch of cadmium red. Let's try a tiny touch of cadmium red. A touch of cadmium yellow. I'm kind of mixing away here now, trying to get just the right shade. It's a kind of a soft greeny yellow, isn't it? I'm going to start with this, look. Let's try this around the eye. We can adjust this as we go. Look, we can change all of this as we go. There's no panic at all. Let's just put this around the eye. And this is going to take a little bit of time, and you know, I want to get it just right. I don't want to kind of rush through all of this. I want it to be just right. So I'm thinking a touch of burnt umber and Naples yellow as well. I'm trying to kind of gauge different shades in all of this, which is tricky. Because when you look at something like this, you just see lots of colour, don't you? It's quite tricky, I must say, because you have to try and see past the reflections and all of that. So it does become quite tricky a little bit. Now, everything I'm doing here, I'm just flicking colour in towards the centre of the eye, okay? Everything I do. Now I have that much done. I think I need to mix up a nice kind of a greeny blue now, and we'll go from there. Let's take some phaylo blue and lots of cadmium yellow, and then some Naples yellow. Naples yellow, softening it just lightly. Maybe a touch of white, but I can see in this mixture is a lot of Naples yellow. It's a very soft kind of a bluey green. Would that not be far off? I think we're nearly there with this colour. So look, I'm just going to go around with this colour for now. Don't worry, I will add darker shades into this as we go. So I just want to kind of fill in this area first with all of this colour. Just go down gently. I did put in a bit of black just around the eye as well previously. Just a little. Tiny, tiny little bit. So let's just tip away here now and see if we can create a nice little eyeball. Yes? If it doesn't work out, it was fun at least trying. I have to say, it was a lot of fun even trying. So even if I make a big mistake and this goes all horribly wrong, I have to say I did enjoy this, and I did learn a few little things about painting eyes, and painting cats in particular. I learned quite a bit. Now it gets darker as it goes up into the shadows above, so I'm taking phthalo blue with some burnt umber for that. I'm just going to go nice and dark up here, okay? Just cut across on the top. Like so. I'm hoping this looks all right from where you're standing on camera. I hope it looks okay. It's always a worry, isn't it, that it's not going to look quite right. So I'm just going to flick this colour now inwards. Everything is going inwards to the centre. You see that? And I'll probably even use my fan brush as well in a moment for a lot of this. I think the fan brush will make a big difference as well, won't it? Okay, I'll pick up a tiny touch of blue. And I'm just going to put little flicks here and there, look. And again, I'm just trying this. This may look completely wrong. As I said, I'm just trying different things. Then maybe a bit of black up here. Now, I get my fan brush. I'm just literally going to bring all this together. And again, this is the early stages. I will probably have to darken some of this and lighten some of it, but at least I have now a base colour on my eye. So I have something to work with. Does that make sense? So I'm just literally going to pull all of this together. The MDF board is helping as well, because when you're putting on thin layers like this on MDF board, it tends to just kind of soak in a little bit, and it just gives you that little bit more control, I find. So I'll just continue softening all of this inwards and outwards, and you can see I'm sort of bringing all the colours together from the inside and from the outside, just to try and create those lines in the eye. How's that looking so far? I mean, as it is, it's not bad, is it? I think it just needs to be that little bit richer, doesn't it? Let's go a little bit richer with the colour. Let's take some blue and a little bit of cadmium yellow. I have a very kind of a greeny blue here now, and I'm just going to pull that in. Here and there. And I'm just trying this. This may be completely wrong. It may look completely wrong, but I am just trying it to see what happens. So I just tend to kind of keep moving backwards and forwards throughout different colours. Now I'm going to go back to the centre, that yellowy colour in the centre. I'm going to go back to that with the same brush now. I'll just clean my brush well. And I'm going to let me just try and mix some different colours and see what happens. Cadmium yellow, a little bit of red. Let's just try that and see what happens, shall we? It's a kind of a browny colour. Let's just flick very gently that colour outwards, and let's just see what happens. This is all about trying and seeing what happens. I know a lot of people would be afraid to just put more colour on for the fear of ruining what they have, and that's understandable as well. I completely understand that. But I think if you don't try it, you're never going to know, are you, really? I think you need to push yourself just a little bit and see what happens. I'm mixing up kind of a dark browny colour here now. Dark browny, sort of a black colour. And just here and there, I'm giving it a few very subtle flicks with the brush outwards from the centre. And what I might do then is I'm getting a very fine pointy brush, a new brush, very small fine pointy brush. Can you see that? very small, and I'm going to take some black and blue. I'm going to try some phaylo blue and a little black. And I think with that colour, I'm going to just put a few tiny little flicks throughout this. Now I hope you can see this from where you are. I don't know if I should zoom in close to the eye or if you can see it okay. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I might zoom in a moment. I'll see, because I know you like to see the mixing as well. That's very important, isn't it, in a tutorial? You want to see the people mixing, the artists mixing. Just going to soften all these back in first. Upwards and inwards to the centre. Now, with this small little brush, I'm going to just suggest little dots of colour here and there in the eye. We have a fairly big kind of a splotch over here, don't we? Now, okay, you might say this is a little bit too complicated for you, and I do understand that. But look, I think if you just try it, you'll be amazed at what you can do. If you just try. I'll try a couple of tiny little strokes with the brush down here as well. Small ones, long ones. Really just to see what happens. Go right in, and remember again, all of this is going to be softened out later anyway with the soft brush. So look, don't be too worried yet that it's going to go pear shaped. I just want to try and create some dark lines here and there, that's all. Now I'm going to take some burnt umber and some black, go up here and put plenty of dark ones, because remember, up in the shadow here, everything is going to be darker. And every mark you put on, also remember, you are going to be, well, we are going to be softening a lot of this with a soft brush as well. So don't forget about that. So anything we do can be fixed, so to speak. So let me get a very soft brush. Look, you can use a fan brush as well. I think a soft brush might work better on this. I'm going to soften it outwards following the shape of the eye. So coming from the centre, softening everything outwards. Now I'll stop at that and take a look. And it's not bad. Not bad. I'm just going to now put in that darkness up overhead. So with another flat brush, I'm going to go with black and a hint of cadmium yellow, just to make it very blacky green. Okay, I'm going to go along here, and don't be worried that you're going to mess up everything that you've done. It's only natural to think that as well, isn't it, that you're going to mess up what you've just painted. For me, I think just going for it is the best way forward. Just grab your brush and your paint and just go for it, because you're never going to know unless you try. So be brave. Be brave. Now I'm just going to put in this dark first like this, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften this down. I'm going to try and soften it down with my soft brush. Now a fan brush is absolutely fine as well if you want to try and use a fan brush. But just to soften it out, like that first, okay? That's already looking pretty nice, isn't it? Then I'm going to go with just black on its own. And I'm going to go right up with black. And the blackness up over the eye disappears into the eyebrow itself, doesn't it? So it all kind of becomes one almost. Again, go back in. You could add a touch of blue as well if you want to get a really deep black. It gets very dark just here, doesn't it? Okay, now we're getting somewhere, I think, aren't we? I think more black and a little bit of blue again. And then with that, again, back to the soft brush. And I just want to soften all of this, because on an eye particularly, everything is very soft, isn't it? You don't get those very harsh, solid lines. Rather, everything is nice and soft, isn't it? So very gently going along just the edge where they meet and softening. Okay. And come here, I don't think that's too bad, is it? I really don't. I thought it was going to look a lot worse in the end, to be quite honest. I thought it was going to look terrible. It's actually not half bad, is it? I don't think it is. I don't think it's that bad at all. So I'm just going to refine now some of the lines and stuff like that. Just like that, you see. I'll get a small pointy brush and I'm just going to refine down here. I'm going to just, again, just to cover that off at the bottom of the eye. Believe it or not, my hands are actually starting to get shaky as the years go on. They're not as steady as they were, I can tell you that. But it's expected, isn't it? Shaky hands, huh? Okay, that's not bad. Let's do the center. Come on, let's get the center in and we can stop and take a look. I'll just go for some black. Straight in with some black, and the center piece, just, it's a funny kind of shape, isn't it? It's almost like a teardrop, isn't it? Teardrop shape. Let me just get a smaller brush down for this because it'll be much faster, won't it? Small flat brush, look. Okay, then we have bottom piece. Which just sticks down. It's a little node coming down, isn't it? Small little piece like this. I will do the same up on top, just so we have it there. All right, now behind, or sorry, around that, we have a very rich turquoisey green. I don't know if you can see that, but if you zoom in slightly on the reference photograph, we have a very rich kind of a turquoisey green just around that center. So a little bit of white and blue and a bit of yellow. I'm just going to, with that colour, go around. Just nice and carefully, take your time. I will have to adjust the shape of all of this again, just to have it right. Maybe it looks okay, I don't know. There we go, that's looking good. I'm then going to take a little burnt umber into that dark colour, and I want to put just a tiny few little flicks out of this. Dragging that out with a little bit of dark paint on my brush. Now I'm just I'm no expert at this. I'm simply just looking at the photograph and I'm painting what I see. I'll be very honest, that's literally what I'm doing. If you see little flicks of paint in a certain direction, just put them in. Just put them in. It'll only help. Isn't that right? And just see where it goes. See what happens. See where it goes. Now for the tricky part. First of all, I just need to get a fan brush, if I can find it. Ah, sorry, my apologies, it's down here on the ground. I just want to soften first that black here, okay? I'm just going to flick that over to a side. Just very gently soften it back into the fur, see? It just kind of flicks up very gently. Just very, very gently now, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. I'm then going to just, before I put all the reflection and stuff in, I just want to put some very rich blue in, just around the eye, just to set up, just to kind of set it off. A little bit of blue and a bit of white, and you can see we have these lovely little bluey white colours around there, don't we? Now I probably should wait until it's dry before I do this, but I'm just a very impatient person and I like to just paint as I'm going, I'll be honest. So I am just going to put them in. But I do hope you have enjoyed watching, at least. I know this is probably not your type of subject, as I was saying earlier, but I think, you know, it's nice to try different things. It's really nice to just to try, really. Maybe a little bit of white just along under here. I think just to set that off a little bit more. And a little bit of white down around here. All these little touches I feel will help. And I just flip that one away, then leave that just disappear. I am almost afraid to do the reflection on the eye. I'll be honest, I'm almost afraid of ruining what I have. Should I do it? Should I not? And first of all, I'm just going to take a little bit of light blue and put a little light blue just up here. I think that would help make it look a little bit more round, just a touch. I think we're ready to do these little reflections on the eye. I think this is what's going to make or break this painting. Here I go. Wish me luck, my friends. I know this needs now probably a bit more work. It needs to be slightly darker, doesn't it? I could probably even, do you know what I will do? Do you know what I'm going to do? Just as it just popped into my head this minute. I'm going to take a little dark green and I'm going to put a little dark green on my fan brush and put a little dark green in here. Just sort of on one side coming in. Now this might take a few tries. How's that? A little bit of, I think it needs a little bit of that darkness just up on top, doesn't it? That little bit of shadow coming down over the eye. I think that might help now actually. Yes, that's better now, isn't it? Now we're in business. I'll start with this bright shadow here. I'm going to go blue and white. It's probably mostly white, but I think there's a bit of blue there as well. I could be wrong, but it looks like there's a bit of blue in this mix as well, looks to me. Let's start. Comes along like this, and it comes down like this, and it comes over like that. Okay. I hope you're seeing this. Then we have another one, which goes like that. Now these highlights, they're kind of disappearing into the paint. I will go over them again, just so you know. I will go over them once or twice, but just to get the shapes of them right for now. That's a little better. Then we have a small one. There. Now that's not bad. It's actually not that bad. How's that? I'll come with some whitey blue just over here. A bit more. We also have that colour on this side. And I'll show you then how I kind of create the impression of the black behind it coming through. But first I just want to try and just get some of the lighter shade now, just a little highlight over here. It's showing through. It's almost like you can see behind the reflection, can't you? And then leave it disappear down. I don't know if that looks okay. You tell me. From your end of the screen, it probably looks completely different to what I think I can see here. But I hope it's not too bad. Okay, I'm mixing again another light blue. I'm going to blue this up a little bit. Then with my small brush, I'll take a little black, and I'm going to just kind of continue on the eye. You see the eye behind here? I'm going to continue that on. As if you can see through it. Does that make sense? Now, I just want to sharpen up over there. It needs to be very kind of crisp, doesn't it? Then maybe take a little bit of white and just here and there. Drag some white. And I think we're almost done with this. We're almost done. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it turned out that complicated in the end, did it? And I might just soften very gently with this brush. Very gently over some of this. And how about that? I'm just going to sort of dance around on the canvas here now, or the board, sorry, with a little white and some Naples yellow. I just want to dance around and put in some highlights on the fur, which I think may help, may not, may help, but I just want to dance around, you see, just like that, create a little bit of direction on the fur, that's all. So I'm just grabbing lots of thick paint and popping a couple in with my brush, here and there. Just being careful. I don't want to overdo this. And I see a couple of nice ones down here. Look, let's just give these a couple of flicks outwards, up and out of the painting. And perhaps one or two in here as well. Alright, then I might do the same with just that little bit of bright yellow. Just down there in the bottom corner. Might just pop a little bit of that with a fine brush as well. I think that makes a difference. Perhaps take some sienna. Put some sienna down here. Slightly softening them together. And again, perhaps a little light blue just for here. Just to give a little bit of depth in the shadows down here. Now I don't know if this is all helping, it may not be, but I think it's worth trying. I might do the very same then with some black. Let's get some black. We're almost really to the end of this, I'll be honest, my friends. We're almost to the end. I don't feel the need to have to keep going. I have what I want, I think. And I'm pretty happy with the outcome. So why continue on with the risk of making it worse? I find if you're happy enough with it, if it looks like what you want it to intend it to look like, then just stop. There's no point in continuing on for fear of messing it up, I suppose. Just a little bit more just in here. Look, see those little dots there and there? And just soften those in. And how about that? Now I probably will need to go back at the reflection in the eye, because I kind of notice they need to be slightly sharper, don't they? These little pieces. So I will just make them a little bit sharper. And I suppose I could leave this dry and go over it again. I could. But I don't know if I really need to. I'm pretty happy with all of this. Let me just darken this in here. I think I call this finished, my friends, because if I keep going at this now, I know I am going to ruin it, make a mess. So I think I'm probably better off just calling it finished. Isn't that right? And there we go. My friends, thank you so, so much. It has been an absolute joy and a pleasure. I'll zoom in for you on this. There we go. I might darken the green, maybe make it a bit more in your face. I might. I'll see. But then again, I don't want to make it worse. I don't think that's too bad at all. Well, listen. Thank you so, so much for that. For joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. That wasn't a very long tutorial, was it? I just kind of went along with it, took my time. I didn't focus too much on details. I don't like to focus too much on details, but just getting a nice little impression, I think, is just enough. I'm happy with that. So thank you so, so much for joining me. Let me know what you think. Something different, something that you might want to try. Who knows? You won't know till you try it. I found that very enjoyable and very relaxing to paint as well. Something completely different, out of my comfort zone. So let me know what you think. Thank you so, so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you again very soon. God bless and happy painting.